Dimension 4 is the hardest to talk about. Wish me luck. Social construction of social subjects, or subjectification. Fleming and Spicer say attempts to shape people's sense of self, their identity, their experiences, their emotions. Through disciplinary regimes, through construction of identity, through discourse, and through governmentality, which is another Foucault term. It's a little bit like self-discipline. Hauergaard says socialization, which isn't part of Fleming and Spicer's one. Conformity and deviance, like telling you what is and isn't cool. Subjectification through discipline. Surveillance is the one that we'll focus on here, but there are other ways. Governmentality, and a thing called ontological security. Okay, socialization is when we learn self-discipline and self-restraint through our childhood, what can be called the civilizing process. We learn how to fit in with society, with our community. We can't afford as a society to have complete anarchy. We have social subjects who can do anything they want, and some people can, but we can't have everybody doing it. So some order is something that we require. Interdependence, predictability, and a certain amount of conformity. And so we can be socialized intentionally through education, through our parents, through surveillance, and also through competition for status. So we do the right thing so we can get a promotion, or we be good as a child so that we will get our parents' love. And here's some of the things I put on here, ways that we are socialized into valuing education or valuing winning. And I've also got girls playing with dolls and boys playing with toys. We're socialized into wanting our parents' approval or our boss's approval, and saying yes, boss. So as well as that, we've got subjectification. Foucault argues that individuals are shaped by social and historical forces. So the way we are shaped changes through history and where we grow up, including disciplinary and power technologies, but also that we actively create our own identities, which he sees as a form of resistance, but he doesn't see resistance as opposite to power, just a word that can describe, I guess, resisting against the norm. So Foucault's subjectification refers to the process by which we become subjects of our state or whatever. We're subjected to power, we're governed, we're controlled, we're regulated by institutions and everything else. And we also develop our own sense of self, identity and agency, and self-knowledge, reflection, etc. Belonging, feeling a sense of belonging and having an identity that we share with others are very strong human needs. We desire to belong in social groups, to adopt identities, and we modify our behaviors and our values and even our appearance to fit in with these groups or communities or social groups. So it's not hard to socialize us, or it's easy to use subjectification on people. Ontological security. Okay, so we experience the world out there as real. That's why we call it reality. And it's relatively objective and it's relatively fixed. When it becomes unpredictable, uncertain, or completely chaotic, it's very uncomfortable for most of us. So we often resist this. So if we see change happening in dimension 4, that is the most challenging. So dimension 3 and dimension 4. So when reality is not reality anymore, or when we are not ourselves anymore, or our social groups are not us anymore, this is really challenging for us as human beings. So it's harder to change these things. And we resist, but it's also a time where transformative change can become possible because those systems of power, those relations of power become more visible. We can imagine a different reality. This is the original prose. You can read that yourself. Okay, let's talk about surveillance because it's a pretty hot topic. There's a lot of more surveillance, like when I go to Coles, recording me, checking out my groceries. God forbid I put a Mars bar in my pocket. Anyway, Jeremy Bentham in the 18th century came up with the panopticon, and what it was a design for a prison or any other institution where the guard tower was in the middle and all the prisoners were around the outside in their cells with open doors. So at any one time, the guard could be looking at any of the prisoners. And obviously, they weren't looking at all the prisoners all the time. But because the prisoners didn't know when that they would be being looked at, they had to act as if the guard was looking at them all the time. And this is called the panopticon. It's called a technology of power, and it promotes self-regulation or self-discipline. And this is what our whole world is turning into. This is a very short video, 1 or 2 minutes, from the movie Snowden. Edward Snowden blew the whistle on the CIA spying on US citizens, which it's not meant to do. It's a really good little 2-minute video there. Here's a new novel thing that I found. Amazon's Ring. It wants to track your pets, just in case your pets get lost. But hey, if it's got permission to film all these areas for the pets, what's the real... Either they're just trying to monetize this technology, but it could also be abused. The footage could be demanded by police or the government or private companies. Obviously, it's going to a private company. So intelligence is now becoming a product produced by private companies instead of something produced by governments. And this author, Dennis Desmond, is concerned about this. Palantir was in the news back in February. Sorry, this is but I've got several slides, so I wanted to talk about it. It's a defense contractor. They're a giant company. They specialize in data integration and surveillance analytics. In WA, they're used by Coles, Rio Tinto, Westpac. The Department of Defence in Australia has also decided to work with Palantir. This is a Facebook reel again. The government investment in this company is a lot, and people are worried about it. This is Alex Karp, who's the chief executive of Palantir. They decided in April this year to publish his manifesto, or their manifesto, and it is pretty scary if you read it. So they posted it on X, and it's a summary of Alex Karp's recent book titled The Technological Republic: Hard Power, Soft Belief, and the Future of the West. And he wants a hierarchy of civilizations, rejection of pluralism, Silicon Valley to be morally obligated to US military power, the necessity of AI-powered weapons, compulsory military service, and it goes on and on. And it is about Western supremacy for sure. First Dog, of course, did a cartoon about it, basically saying when someone tells you who they are, believe them. There's a whole pile of other articles and protests around Palantir, and they did break a lot of governments have broken contracts with them because, anyway, I'll let you look into it if you're interested. But if you're scared of surveillance, look there first. Okay. Apparently you can buy Google glasses or camera glasses from Kmart for $89. $89, and they're sold out, sorry. They're undetectable. They're always filming, always sending data back to Meta. They will soon have live facial recognition. There's a hack to turn off the light that comes on when it's filming. Live streaming if you want to onto the internet. So you don't even you can be filmed not just by the government, not just by a private company contracted by another private company like Coles, but some random person on the street can also film you without your knowledge wherever you are. How do you feel about this? Is this okay? My last slide here, because this one just came out. They're mainstream now. Are our privacy laws adequate to deal with this situation? I'll let you find out.